What's up guys, this is Adam from 3dmodsworld.com. Welcome to another Maya tutorial, and today I'm gonna show you this really cool animation we're gonna create in the xShatter version 2.0 we just released, and it's gonna be really cool tutorial. I'm gonna show you guys how to create this like a destruction simulation, and also we're gonna generate the smoke trails using the plugin as well. So this is gonna be a really nice tutorial. It's just gonna be like a nice overview, show you, give you some ideas how you can create this kind of effect, and then you can take it from there for your own scene. So without further delay, let's get started. Okay, so this is the scene I have. I'm just gonna show you guys. So I have this tower model, and we have like some simple animation applied to it. So let's take a look and see. So there's, as you can see, this rock coming and then it's like crashing with the tower. So we want to make sure now we create this nice dynamics on it, and we control exactly how is the dynamic simulation gonna be, so nothing's happening randomly. Okay, so first thing, let's go back to the moment of impact, so around like frame 27, and then let's look at the scene here. So you can see this is the main object we're gonna be working with. So let me minimize that script, and then this tower here. So let's hide everything, and then the rock itself, let's make a template, so this way we can see exactly what area we need to focus on. Okay, so in the xShatter we can open the poly shattering generator, because right now it's just one piece and we want to make sure it's we have lots of fragments to do the simulation. So first let's just click generate fragments, and then let's go wireframe and shade it, so this way we can see. So now we have two pieces, and we want to like make sure this section will get the hit to have the most like pieces, and then the areas like further, they don't need to be too many pieces, just like big chunks to make it more natural. But right now we just like keep selecting toward the middle area, and then just keep generating fragments until we get something start to feel more natural. So let's go to like side, and let's keep doing that. So now it's processing. Okay, so let's see this way. Let's also break some chunks in here. Let's select this middle section again. Okay, so let's see. So if we select this area, the middle, we don't want to have too many big chunks selected, so anything big here we can split it. And then let's select this section here. So let's see, we have right now around 367 pieces. So this, I like this big chunks here, I want to keep it. I don't want to have smaller pieces here, because it's nice to see a variation in the sizes. And the bottom, this piece we can, you know, we can destroy here a little bit more. So let's see, this one we can split it. It doesn't need to be too bulky. This one could be fine. So, you know, we just keep looking at the scene and then kind of see what makes sense for the simulation here. Okay, so let's start working on the sim right now, and then we can adjust later if we find like some areas you know, they look too big and want them to be smaller. Okay, so first thing we want to do is the moment of impact here. So we want to like so what we want is when the rock hits here, everything just like blows up. So especially middle section. So we select this part, and then let's deselect some of these. We don't want this back part, just like the main kind of area of impact. That's the main one that gets the hit. Let's go wireframe a little bit, and then let's just try to collect some more pieces. Okay, this looks pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so we go to that directional explosion section. and then we click convert to dynamics. Just give it a second. This is normal, this error. Then generate directional, and just goes through and does its thing. Okay, now it's completed. So let me group all these guys that we all the meshes here. We don't need to see them in the outliner like that. Just we call this mesh. Okay, so right now we can see there's a bunch of things happen in our scene. So first things, let's go to this group, and then if you see this control here, and then let's see what happened. So we have this control arrow. Let's scale it up. This controls the direction where the piece is gonna be flying. So now they're gonna be flying this way, where it's the arrow pointing. And then let's take this the field, and then let's scale it. And this field, you wanna make sure it's positioned where you want the hit to be. Usually it should be positioned there, but sometimes for whatever reason it doesn't, so you can just put it in the correct place. Okay, so now if we press play, nothing happens, of course, because the simulation, we didn't tell it when to start. So let's go back and then view everything and then untemplate the rock. So this way we have a better idea, and then we can look through the camera as well if we want to see. So now let's select this group again, and then we can see all the pieces that's going to be affected by it. So let's just hide them for now because we want to look at these other pieces. Okay, and then let's keep working the same idea here. So first I want this top part to be like also a separate group. I don't want it to be everything else gonna happen, you know, fall at the same time. I want things to have a different timing. So let's split these into like different sections. So maybe like this part, let's see, maybe this whole top part will be one group. So let's for this one we just want it to be demolition. So let's click convert dynamics. So it's calculating and finish, and then generate demolition. So you can see here demolition group created. Then let's hide this, and then we have all these sections here. Let's select them, and then we can, let's see, is there anything else? Let's create another group for these guys. Convert dynamics, also demolition group, and then generate demolition. Completed. And let's hide this, and then we can do one last group, this one, but let's not select everything in it, and we want to favor toward the camera. So maybe like this side will be destroyed and the rest will stay. Okay, so let's select it, convert dynamics, generate demolition, and then we have this last group. Okay, so now let's have the visibility on all of them. And then one last thing we want to do is to make things look really nice is let's make sure we untemplate the other objects. We just select them like that, and you know, just in case everything around, just if things flies and hit, and then let's go general settings and add static collider. So this way they're gonna interact. If these pieces fly and hit here, it's gonna have a nice interaction. Okay, so now let's start with the main hit. So once it goes in here, make sure if you move the timeline and things disappear, usually this here there's a P, just click on it. It was disabled. If you click on it, things will be remain. Just something I noticed right now. So now let's go to the moment of the hit. So around, let's see, so 26 to 27. So let's make it 27. Is the like it starts. So let's keyframe same start, go 26, keyframe it on 0, go 27, and just press 1. And then right now, if we go and play, when it's hit, you can see this stuff moving, like a little bit. The destruction starts to happen. Right now, of course, we don't have any information, so it doesn't know. Okay, so now it hits the 27, and let's start playing with these settings. So first, we want the gravity to be like around, maybe it's like 60, and then the strength of this direction, like how strong it is pulling. Let's go like 10. So these numbers I'm just like adding right now. You know, it's random. It's not something we need. We can adjust based on the scene size and everything. And another thing, this if I just selected the explode field, this is gonna control how is this explosion gonna happen. So right now that shape of it's like cube. I like to put it sphere, and then we can scale it. Scale will affect how much area it's influencing. So let's scale like this to make sure like everything is gonna be influenced. Of course, it's gonna influence just the parts that's been attached to. So it's not gonna influence these guys, just the middle section. And the magnitude is very important. So that's the strength. So this scene is really large, so we're gonna go with big numbers. So maybe like 5,000 for now. And then let's see what all these settings, what does it give us? Okay, so now you can see it's pretty strong. So one thing we want to adjust here as well is the weight of these pieces, because right now if we click on this arrow, the mass is like 1. These like very light. You know, at least we want to have them like 10. You know, and then we're gonna of course adjust the weight on all these other pieces because they're kind of like the same. You know, they're different sizes, but we're gonna treat them as the same mass. So this way the gravity affect them the same, so not like falling really slow, light, and you know, just we want to make sure things are consistent with this object at least. If we have another ones like wood and other pieces, we can adjust the weight to be lighter, so if the rock hit the wood, they will fly much further. But for now, let's keep it like that. Let's make sure I put all the groups. Okay, so now when we press play, it's gonna be different. The influence is not gonna be as much, so you can see. And then we want to do another thing. So once it hit, we want to continue this simulation. We don't want it to be like stop. So it hits here, get destroyed, like immediately we want this section now to also start to fall apart. So we're gonna key the simulation start, sim start. Okay, and then just keep going. And then let's see, so we got this objects as well. We can start. Now I'm putting just a random starting points, then we can adjust them once we get the simulation working better with the animation. And then let's have this one as well. I'm just keying like simple stuff, just keying when the simulation gonna start. So now if we press play, we can see what's gonna happen. Okay, so one thing we forgot, you can see how everything looks like in space. We forgot to animate the gravity, have weight for the gravity. So this gravity affecting the demolition groups. We added the gravity for that the explosion. We made it 60, so we wanna change the demolition gravity also to be like similar. So everything is consistent, so we changed that to 60. So now when we press play, it should be more consistent. You can see now the pieces. So let's go from the camera view, since this is really important. You can see everything's flying and falling, and this is like we controlled. So this is flying maybe too much, so that's mean this field we can you know, reduce the magnitude. Now it's 5,000, maybe we can make it 3,000, and then we see how it feels. Yeah, I feel we could now my of course computer is running a bit slower because I'm recording, but we could have the sim start a little bit sooner. Maybe just one frame. Maybe it didn't work. Keep it as it is because it feels like starting earlier. Now it's more on time. But these guys could start sooner. Let's push everything one frame from the demolition parts. So select this group, select this group, select this group. You can see the spacing is really far. So let's push like 1 or 2 frames back. And then let's see how this affects. So now we're basically controlling exactly how this sim gonna be. So that's the great thing with using the xShatter plugin, is you can control like everything how you want. You're not really bound with the dynamics in terms of like they control how things gonna be. You control like when it start, how things gonna go, all that kind of stuff. That's really very flexible. So now we just, you know, keep just tweaking and tweaking until we get it something that we really like. And if we change this arrow, for example, or we rotate it this way, this is gonna influence the direction right now. It's gonna be more like toward that side. And if you wanna really see that difference, just make it like 1,000. Now we have it really like light. Weight, so it doesn't influence, but now you can see everything is flying toward the camera. So that's how you can really control. So we could do that, like rotate it back, and then you press play, and then everything gonna keep going to that direction, you know. So you can control these stuff, but I want to keep it forward like this a little bit. Maybe we can do it more like this way, and I want to just reduce it to maybe like 100, because I don't want like a specific direction. I want it to be like all over the place. And if you don't want any influence from this allo, just like turn off the direction strength. You turn off direction strength, it doesn't matter how you rotate it, it's just gonna be like a general you know, direction. It depends on where is the colliders and how things interact with each other. But let's keep it 100, so this way it have some kind of influence. Press play. So now you can see all these big chunks they falling. And if you're wondering why everything looks purple here, so because now that we have in this version 2 the poly shattering generator, it generates a shatter shader. So each segment or fragments you generate is gonna have this shatter shader connected to it. So this one you can control, you can assign your own unique texture. So you can, like, you know, let's just select it. It doesn't allow me to do color picker from the hypershade, which is weird. So we can just select it, and then you can change the color to whatever you want, and will update on all the fragments. And then if you wanna like a new shader, you just can easily rename it like, let's say, new. And when you start doing new fragments, it's just gonna create a new shader, and it's gonna give it this same purple and then you can just rename and rename. So now we press play, and then this is sim we have so far. It looks pretty good. Of course we can keep tweaking and tweaking until we get it like what we want, and we can always adjust the gravity, you know, to make sure if we want it to be like lighter or heavier. Okay, so now once we are happy with the simulation, let's see everything is working great like what we want. So the thing is, we wanna, you know, start applying some effects, you know, some like dust and smoke, and that's where we have this particle effects section that you can do that. Of course it's gonna be using the Maya N particles to help you generate really cool dust. So but before we do this, we want to go to optimization and want to bake the simulation. So we want to make sure everything is becoming a keyframe and it's no longer like a sim, so this way we can have more control. Okay, so to do that, let's go to that main window here, and then let's minimize xShatter and then hide everything that's not really dynamic in terms of like it doesn't have motion on it. And then let me hide the visibility here, and then visibility as well here. It doesn't have visibility, this one, so I just gonna do then the don't select curves, and then select everything here. So basically we selected all the meshes that they have simulation on them, and then let's go from the camera just in case, just to make sure everything's good, and then bake sim, just click on that. And then when you click on that, you're gonna use the timeline that you have. So before we do the bake sim, make sure this is the timeline you want. If you want it to be less or more, that's the time to adjust. So for example, we could go a little bit more, you know, so because now it's not fully finished, so let's make sure we play and select the timeline we like. Okay, let's say this is good, and let's now show everything. So this way we have the colliders working, and then click bake sim. So now it's gonna go through the timeline and it's gonna bake the simulation and convert everything to keyframes. Okay. So now let's wait a second when it's finished, and then let's select the pieces so we can see, verify it have a keyframes. And then if you just scrub through the timeline, you can go back and forth and no problem. Okay, so this is good. Now we know everything is working. So now everything is becoming a keyframe. And you can see here that some of the pieces, they hit the wall there and then they fall. So that's nice to have always colliders on all these objects. But now even if I hide, it's still gonna do that, interact, because it's already baked into keyframes. So that's good. So now we know we have everything baked, so we don't need to worry about bullet anymore. So we can just literally delete the simulation, and then everything is just got deleted from our scene. Okay, so now we have a clean scene that doesn't have any simulation. Let me save. And then next thing is to create the smoke stuff. So for this demo, I'm gonna do a really quick way, and that will be just I'm gonna select everything. Usually you wanna, you know, like select, let's say, these parts first, you know, that they have their own smoke sim start, and then the other parts follow. So let's see, maybe I'll do that for you guys just quickly because it's kind of nice. So I'm just gonna hide the rock, so I don't want to select the rock that have any sim on it like smoke, and then let's select just these pieces that they just fly first, and then deselect everything. We can use the camera view, it's okay, because that's what's really matter, you know. So all these pieces, and then, you know, shift and control, we can add to the selection. We want to have all these kind of nice pieces to kind of trail, some smoke trailing from them. And let's see. Okay, this is good. Now I wanna group these guys, so Command G into new group. Just let's make sure nothing get messed up animation wise. No, everything is good, because I want to make sure I can hide them and then select other pieces that I want, you know, so we can have control over how much smoke going on. So let's hide this, and then I want to select these guys. Let's see, yeah, all these guys, and then I want these guys to have also, maybe not this one because it just stays in there. I want these ones to have also some smoke separate. Okay, so that's good. So I'm gonna also group these guys as well. So let's call this smoke 1, and this is smoke 2. You know, these names are really quick. And then let's hide and let's see what's left. So these are kind of like similar, so you can just select them, and then of course we don't want to select anything that does not move. So basically I can have all these guys, I don't need them. We just want the stuff that's really active. You know, I don't need this one. Let's see, so that's pretty good, I think. Yeah, so let's also group these guys, then let's call it smoke 3. Okay, so now we can just show everything, and then we can select based on groups, so this way we have full control over how things gonna go. Okay, so it looks pretty sweet. So first thing, these guys, because these guys they fly first, so I want to make sure they kind of have a beautiful trail of smoke on them. So let's go to all them, select them one by one, and then let's go to the fixed smoke section. Okay, there's a few things here we need to do in these numbers here. So first, how many sprites, textures, images gonna be applied? So this smoke is basically based on sprites. It's not like actual 3D smoke, but they're always gonna be pointing to the camera, so it's gonna look like it's 3D. So the more images the better, because it just uses a variety of images, so not all of them looks the same texture. So let's go like a 60 for example. Let's say 60. I want to check the texture I have. I have a texture here already. Let me just go source images. How many images I have in here? So I have 120. So let's use like 100 out of these 120, and this is then a particle rotation. We can adjust this later. So once we select all these, just click generate particles, and then it's gonna generate them. So if you press play, you can see all these particles, they like attach to all these objects. So basically we should have here in smoke 1 all the particles attached. Now you can see here created effects group. This effects group gonna be influencing these guys. So you got inside it as same as like the demolition or all these other things. You have like an options here you can adjust. Now it looks like there's a lot, but it's actually you don't need all of them, but we have them just in case you want to have a really very customized option. So now the particle rate, of course that's important. That's like how many of them it's gonna be emitted particles. But before that, let's go to the make sure we have the material applied. So whenever you create effects, you can have effects shader here created. So this effects shader, let's go to the shading option here, and then under the color, so this is the Lambert, and already everything's set up for the sprites. You just need to select the sprites location and select the first frame, and then everything should be good. You don't need to worry about anything in here. Everything here should be set up correctly. Okay, and then let's go to this effects group, and then make sure we start the animation when these guys fly out. So around frame 30, so click 0, and then let's, by just going here, we have it really like heavy smoke, So let's see how much heavy smoke is that, like 20 particles, and then fades out. You can see them here, they're doing their thing. And then when do you want them to fade out? Maybe like here, kind of like stop. We just want like some nice trail. So let's see. So you can see that's cool, but now it looks like frozen in the air, and that's because we need to adjust a little bit more settings. But now you can see, so now the particle size start, that's when start the size, and then this is the end. So let's say this is, we make it 100. You can see this effects now. They kind of grow in size, which is give them more motion, which is pretty cool. And then another thing is the life of this particle, like how many seconds, this is per second. So let's say if we put like 2 seconds or 1 second, let's make it extreme. So they're gonna just fade out quickly after 1 second. But this is kind of not very natural, like everything fades out this fast. So we can make it, let's say 3. We want it to fade, but not like too quickly, you know. So this is like 3 seconds, so they will start to fade, but they take a little bit longer time. So we can go for, we put the default 5 because it felt it could be a good number, you know, but we can always adjust this. And then opacity here is basically the particle opacity. So right now they're like full opacity. We can change that to like 0.5, you know, or like whatever number you can, you know, you can go more, but this become like a really weird looking very weird. So maximum is like 1 will be still normal, but we can go like 0.6. We have the wind section, so we can adjust the wind strength. Let's adjust it. You can go crazy numbers first and then adjust later. So the scene here, Z is pointing that direction, X is pointing that direction. So we can go, so this is positive X, we can go negative X, negative X minus 1. So this way is coming toward the camera, and then also negative 1. Let's go with Y, so it's going down. Let's see how this affects. So you can see it's kind of coming toward the camera but going down, but this is way too much. It's too fast. We don't want to be that windy. So now I just toned it down, so they will be moving but like really slowly. And then let's see, turbulence. Turbulence also another really cool feature, so we can go like 1000. And frequency, let's go like 10. You know, this is all like turbulence like options, like in a Maya turbulence field. So you can see now they kind of start to have like some weird turbulence movement. This could be cool, it depends on what you're doing. So frequency, I'm gonna increase it to more, just gonna make it more jittery. So frequency, you know, we can tone it down. And then this noise strength you can adjust as well. So you can play with these settings and see like which one does like the effect that you're looking for. I'm just gonna tone it down to like 10. Okay, so now let's work on the other section, the last section. So smoke 2, we select all the objects inside it, and then it's the same thing. Let's make it 100 sprite images and then click generate. So it's done here, so we can just minimize. And then let's go FX group, and then the same thing. Let's go to frame works. Let's say 43 key, and go like 50, have 20. And then frame 76, 0, particle end, let's go 100. And then the same thing here, we need to apply a texture to it because we have xShatter 1. We just select it, and then let's just add the same shader in here. Then go back, And let's select the FX group. We can adjust, maybe let's do the same, make this one 4. Press spray. As you can see, and then we can just same thing, wind, and then make it -1, so it goes down. And then one cool thing we can add here is set rotation on selection. So we just can select the particle and then just go this particle rotation speed, and then you can set it to like, say like 50, and then set on selection. This is gonna rotate like all individual smoke sections, gonna be rotated, so it's gonna make it look more natural. So you can see they kind of rotating here, each one of them. We can do the same because now you can see this one is more static, so we can do the same thing. Just select it and then 50 and then set the rotation. You can see they adjusted a little bit. And then if we press play, they're gonna have a nice like a twist into them, and then you can adjust this number as you like. Maybe this intensity is pretty strong, so let's select the group, FX group, and then now it's 1. Let's make it 0.3. Let's make it really like subtle, and the same thing here, 0.6, 0.3 as well. And then let's go back. We can see here we have this FX, and then let's go to the wind here, and then maybe increase the strength, maybe like 50. So we can play with these settings more, maybe like 500. Now it's too much, so also they move like the same time, so we can break it up with the turbulence. I want it to move like a little bit like this, kind of subtle. The same thing, let's go here, let's have the wind like 100, and then turbulence 100. And then turbulence we can do -1 in X, so it's going toward the camera, and then let's go here -1. Let me double check I added to the X, yes. Press play. So you can see now it's like the particles are moving. So let's do a quick play blast. You can see now they kind of rotating and disappear. And then as usual we can always tweak these settings, you know, and make them as good as we can. Maybe let's view the rock, so this way we have everything in context. And then let's hide everything, and then just show the polygons, and then end particles. Let me double check, is that gonna display? Yeah, okay, so let's quickly do quick play blast. Looks pretty cool. We can always adjust the simulation, you know, and play, but I just wanted to show you guys a quick demo how you can quickly create a nice simulation using the xShatter. And then if for whatever reason you want to delete this FX simulation, you can just click here, delete, and then it's just gonna delete everything. So as you can see, it's pretty straightforward and really easy to control the simulation with xShatter, so you can have a really like cool stuff. And if you want to learn more, you can go to our website and check the xShatter FX simulation to learn more. We have lots of tutorials in there, and also I have like more detail for each tab what it does, because in the xShatter 2.0 we added this active objects, and then we added the extra new things that we didn't have in the previous version. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and please like, subscribe, and if you have any question, feel free to ask me, and I'll be happy to help you. Take care and have a great day.